21 years in Barcelona, 778 appearances made, 672 goals scored, 305 assists delivered, 35 trophies won, and hundreds of millions of conquered hearts. These are the statistics of Leo Messi throughout the history of his stay at the club. Unfortunately, now the legend of world football leaves the capital of Catalonia. This is the end of an era. Or is there still a chance? Whether he really left the club, or is it all a big game of serious people in big jackets? Be sure to watch this video to the end and you'll get to know everything about the current situation with Leo Messi and Barcelona. We are to say vamos and begin immediately. The last few days, everything was as calm as possible for Barcelona supporters. In all the news that appeared regarding Messi, it was reported that as soon as Leo returned from vacation, he would immediately sign a new contract and a happy ending would finally occur. However, on the evening of 5th of August, everything just exploded with news. It all started with the Marca newspaper, which tore up the media space with the statements that things had suddenly turned upside down. According to them, after a meeting between the players' representatives and the club's management, the signing of the contract turned out to be impossible. The main version of Messi's departure was initially called the situation between La Liga, a certain investment fund of CVC Capital Partners, and, in fact, Barcelona. We are to recall that La Liga agreed to sell 10% of its shares to CVC Capital Partners for 2.7 billion euros. 90% of this amount was to be distributed among the clubs to cover the costs somehow connected with the pandemic. For Barcelona, that would mean that they could close the Messi deal. Although La Liga had its own conditions for Barca and also for Real Madrid. These clubs should have forgotten about the Super League project forever. In fact, everyone seemed to forget that Barca, Real and Juventus officially remained in the Super League project. Moreover, they are the ones who are currently suing UEFA in an attempt to defend the rights to hold the tournament. Real reacted to this condition rather abruptly and immediately opposed the deal to sell the shares. But Barcelona allegedly faced the choice: keep Messi and leave the Super League, or stay in the Super League and lose Leo. Obviously, the bosses of the Blaugranas choose not to follow the instructions of Javier Tebas, as after a few minutes Barcelona officially announced that Leo was leaving the club. Despite having reached an agreement between FC Barcelona and Leo Messi, with the clear intention of both parties to sign a new contract, can be formalized due to economic and structural obstacles, the statement read. It is easy to understand from this piece that both the player and the club wanted to continue cooperation, but simply couldn't afford it because of the restrictions imposed by La Liga. And that smoothly brings us to a certain theory. But what if all of that is a bluff trying to push Tebas and La Liga to make concessions? Soon after the announcement of Messi's leaving, such information began to spread. For example, Tony Juan Martí, a journalist from Diario Sport, wrote that Barcelona's statement is not yet final. He claims that this was done only in order to put pressure on the leadership of the league. What are the arguments in favor of the fact that this is actually a bluff? Firstly, according to reports from people close to the Barca dressing room, the players had no idea of Messi in Barcelona not renewing the contract. If the players themselves say that they are not knowing much, then this may be proof that everything is still possible. After all, Leo would surely have said something to his teammates. Secondly, the Spanish journalist Michael Blasquez wrote that the club says the deal is still real to be concluded. It will be hard to pull off though. That is, there is still a job to be done behind the curtains. Nevertheless, the most important thing is money. Laporta is well aware of the importance of Leo Messi to all Spanish football. If he leaves the National League, then all sponsors will begin to leave and put tremendous pressure on La Liga, demanding lower prices for rights. After all, without the Argentinian, absolutely everything that concerns La Liga will begin to fall in price at a rapid speed. The risk of remaining without the persona of Leo Messi, whose previously left Cristiano Ronaldo, could be the end for Tebas. And this is the most powerful plan up the sleeve for Barcelona. Of course, a version that Laporta is bluffing exists, but there is also much simplest turn of events cannot be ignored. The first thing that can be indirectly cited in confirmation of Leo's departure is the article of the Mundo Deportivo journalist Ferran Martinez. He wrote that Messi was shocked himself. He even came from the vacation earlier than expected, specifically to renew the contract in a club's office. The second reason is that in addition to the official announcement, Barcelona has published a farewell video with a cut of the most memorable moments. If this is part of Laporta's plan, then this is too cruel to play with the feelings of the fans. Someone has to think about the mental health of millions of people. And the most noticeable part is that Barca was not able to cut the payroll. Coutinho, Griezmann, Neto, Pjanic, Braithwaite, Dembele, Umtiti, Lenglet, they are still there at the club. Funnily enough, no one hit the obvious. For the management to register Messi, they would have to get rid of Manuel ads from the list. Again, according to local media reports, none of the players put up for transfer list is going to either agree to a salary cut or leave the club. Another theory comes from that matter. But what if these announcements about Messi's departure are not intended to put pressure on La Liga, but on players the club desperately wants to sell? Just imagine what sort of reactions will follow Griezmann, Coutinho and others if Barcelona starts to spread information that they have become the main reason for saying goodbye to the legend. In our harsh reality, they will simply be destroyed. There is no going far from the internet and colossal pressure is guaranteed. In the stands, they will receive nothing but outraged whistles and etc. Given that for many players the support factor is of the utmost importance, this may force them to cut salaries or simply leave Barcelona to move somewhere far away. In fact, it is easiest to outplay football players in such mind games, since they are more connected to the football community and don't have much experience in such situations. So this theory cannot be fully disregarded. The Area Sport writes that Leo hasn't linked other clubs as he is still convinced of signing an agreement with Barcelona. If it helps to register him, then he is even willing to reduce his salary in a bigger amount. Of course, there were various rumors of Messi not satisfied with the Barcelona roster and therefore he allegedly decided not to renew the contract himself, but it looks like more of a hoax than truth. After all, authoritative guys report the opposite. Leo believes in Laporta's project and wants to stay there. So if we talk about where the Argentinian can move in case the situation gets even worse, then things are about to become more complicated. Nicolo Schira's information appeared that PSG was ready to start negotiations with Messi, but almost immediately Marca and the Manchester Evening News denied it. They noted that the Parisians have a priority of keeping Mbappe, and they are not interested in the Argentinian now. Besides, a fresh photo of Leo with Parisian footballers led by Neymar can speak in favor of PSG, but this is too weak for an argument. Man City could be another option, but the citizens clearly defined their goals. Jack Grealish and Harry Kane, and if Jack has already been bought, then the hunt for Harry just begun. Let us know in the comments what you think of it. Will Messi really leave Barcelona? Or is this just a bluff against La Liga or other Barca players? Be sure to give a like to this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to quickly receive all the news related to Leo Messi and his future. We are already preparing the next video with new details. Stay with us as it will become even more interesting.